Life has a way of humbling even the wealthiest of families. A few months after their wedding, Emeka's business took a hit. A major contract fell through, and slowly, his once thriving company began to struggle. The luxurious lifestyle the family had enjoyed for so long started to slip away. The big house, the expensive cars, the frequent trips abroad, everything was at risk. In the bustling, ever-growing city of Lagos lived Ogechi, a woman whose beauty radiated not from material wealth, but from her deep-rooted kindness and humility. She was a schoolteacher, shaping young minds with her calm demeanor and gentle spirit. Ogechi's life was simple, yet fulfilling, surrounded by the warmth of her students and the occasional visit to her close-knit community. But Ogechi's life was about to change in ways she could never imagine. It all began on a regular Tuesday morning. Ogechi had finished her teaching duties and decided to grab a few things from the local market. As she navigated the crowded stores, she bumped into a tall, well-dressed man. His tailored suit, gold wristwatch, and polished shoes made him stand out in the busy market scene. But it was his calm smile and calm presence that drew Ogechi in. His name was Emeka, a successful businessman who had been visiting the market to reconnect his roots. From the moment their eyes met, there was an undeniable connection. They exchanged pleasantries, and Emeka, enchanted by her natural beauty and simplicity, asked her out for a coffee. What started as casual conversation quickly turned into something more. Within weeks, they had deeply fell in love, and before long, Emeka proposed to Ogechi in a beautiful, intimate setting. For Ogechi, this felt like a fairy tale, an ordinary teacher being swept at her feet by a man as successful and kind-hearted as Emeka. But in the back of her mind, she knew there would be challenges. Emeka came from a wealthy family, the kind who cared about status, class, and appearances. His mother, Madame Flora, and his two sisters, Ada and Kamsi, were known for their high standards and social circles filled with Lagos City. Still, Ogechi believed in the power of love, and Emeka had always reassured her that nothing and no one would come between them. However, reality hit hard during their engagement ceremony. The day Ogechi met Emeka's family was one she would never forget. Emeka was excited and optimistic that his family would embrace the woman he had chosen. As they arrived at the sprawling mansion in Lekki, Ogechi couldn't help but feel small. The grandeur of the house, the marble floors, and the high ceilings, it was like stepping into another world. Madame Flora, an elegant woman in her mid-60s, greeted them with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Dressed in a designer lace dress with a matching gele, she looked every bit the mother figure of a wealthy Lagos family. Ada and Kamsi, Emeka's sisters, stood nearby, their eyes scanning Ogechi from head to toe. Ada, the older sister, was a corporate lawyer, and Kamsi, the younger, was an aspiring fashion designer. Both were used to the luxury life and didn't hide their disapproval of Ogechi's simple attire. "Welcome, my dear," Madame Flora said, her voice laced with politeness, but there was an undercurrent of judgment that Ogechi couldn't ignore. Throughout the dinner, the tension was palpable. Ogechi tried to engage in conversation, but every comment she made was met with indifference. Ada would roll her eyes and Kamsi would giggle, whispering something to her mother. Emeka, Noticing the hostility, squeezed Ogechi's hand under the table, giving her a reassuring smile. But Ogechi could sense it. No matter how much Emeka loved her, his family didn't approve. Madame Flora, in particular, made it clear that she had hoped for someone more polished for her son. Ogechi didn't fit into their family wealthy lifestyle, and they were not shy about expressing that. After their wedding, Ogechi moved into the luxurious home Emeka had bought for them in Ikoyi. The house was beautiful, but it didn't feel like home. Emeka's family would visit often, and each visit was an emotional battle for Ogechi. Madame Flora's sharp comment about her cooking, Ada's condescending tone, and Kamsin's constant criticism of her fashion choices weighed heavily on her. Emeka, she doesn't belong in our world, Madame Flora would say during private conversation with her son. She's a nice girl, yes, but she's not like us. You need someone who understands our social circles, someone who can carry herself with sophistication. But Emeka remained firm. Mom, I love Ogechi. She has a heart of gold, and that is all that matters to me. Money and status doesn't define love. Despite Emeka's support, the coldness from his family began to wear on Ogechi. She had hoped that over time they would see her for who she truly is, a woman who loved their son deeply. But no matter what she did, it seemed like they always found something wrong. Whether it was the way she organized the house, her choice of clothing, or even the way she spoke, nothing was ever good enough. Ogechi would often retreat to their bedroom after family gathering, tears in her eyes, but every time Emeka would find her, wrap his arms around her, and remind her that she was all he needed. I married you, not them, he would whisper. Don't let them get to you. Ogechi smiled weakly, but deep down she wondered if she could ever truly be accepted. Life has a way of humbling even the wealthiest of families. A few months after their wedding, Emeka's business took a hit. A major contract fell through, and slowly, his once thriving company began to struggle. The luxurious lifestyle the family had enjoyed for so long started to slip away. The big house, the expensive cars, the frequent trips abroad, everything was at risk. Emeka was devastated. He had always prided himself on being the provider, and now, with his business crumbling, he felt like he had failed. Ogechi, however, remained calm. She didn't care about the material things. They had never mattered to her. What mattered was Emeka, and she was determined to stand by him through the difficult time. Without saying a word, Ogechi stepped up. She took on extra work at her school, offering private sections after hours. She cut back on their household expenses, making sure that they lived within their new means. Every night, she would stay up late, working on lessons plan, budgeting, and finding ways to support Emeka without bothering him. She never complained. She never asked for recognition. She simply did what needed to be done because she loved her husband. Madame Flora, once so critical of Ogechi, began to notice the change. She had always thought of Ogechi as too simple, a woman who didn't belong in their world of luxury and status. But now, she saw something different. Ogechi wasn't just kind, she was strong. When the family needed support, it was Ogechi who quietly held everything together. One evening, after a particular rough day at work, Madame Flora visited Ogechi and Emeka. She sat down at the kitchen table, watching as Ogechi prepared a simple but delicious meal. "Ogechi," she began, her voice softer than usual, "I misjudged you." Ogechi turned, surprised by the change in Madame Flora's tone. "Madame Flora?" "No, let me finish," Madame Flora interrupted. "When Emeka married you, I thought he was making a mistake. I wanted someone more refined for him, someone who fit in our world, but I see now that I was wrong. True strength isn't about wealth or status, it's about heart. You have shown me that, and I am grateful." Ogechi smiled, her heart swelling with emotion. "I love Emeka, and I will always stand by him. That is what family does." Madame Flora nodded, her eyes misty with tears. For the first time, she saw Ogechi not as an outsider, but as a daughter-in-law worthy of her son. From that day forward, the dynamic in their family changed. Ada and Kamsi, who had once treated Ogechi with disdain, began to soften as well. They saw how she had stepped up during the family times of need, and slowly they started to appreciate her for who she was. Months passed, and while Emeka's business slowly recovered, the family newfound respect for Ogechi continued to grow. She was no longer the simple teacher they had once dismissed. She was the glue that held the family together during their darkest hours. Emeka, as always, remained devoted to his wife. Their love had only deepened through the trials they had faced, and they often spoke of starting a family, building a future together that was based on love, not material wealth. Ogechi had finally found her place, not just as Emeka's wife, but as a valued member of the family. What had once felt like a battle for acceptance had turned into a story of resilience, love, and the power of staying true to oneself. In the end, Ogechi taught them all a valuable lesson that true wealth isn't measured in the money or status, but in the love and loyalty of the people you hold dear. And as the family gathered around the dinner table, laughing and sharing stories, Ogechi couldn't help but smile. She had found her home, not in the grandeur of the house, but in the hearts of the people she loved.